The city of Riga in Latvia has seen an amazing development. In today's video, I want to make a comparison of what the city used to look like back then and what it looks like today. So now let's get into it. One of the places I found is this old bus station. As of that time, the bus station looks pretty old and run down. Noticeably, it's a pretty huge area and it covers a lot of the space. Space that could be used for something more meaningful than a bus station. In the most recent coverage, there are 3 new buildings that are connected. It's some sort of modern looking office buildings, and these buildings will definitely serve much more meaningful purpose than the old bus station. Now, in this footage, we can see some old wooden house, which is very common in the Baltic states. It doesn't look bad, nothing exceptional, just a regular house. But as of today, we got this modern glass building, which looks like an office building or something. And boy, I gotta say, that looks very cool. So in this footage, you can see some construction work going on alongside of the highway. There are some cranes, and the construction of those buildings is in the very beginning. But guess what we have in 2024? The Latvian Twin Towers. I don't know if they were inspired by the Twin Towers in New York or the Twin Towers in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Either way, it looks cool. It kind of looks like a mix of both. You know what's even crazier? That on the other side of the highway, there are another Twin Towers. Now, you cannot obviously see it. This is of 2014. There was just a bunch of trees and nothing. But now there are some 2 modern buildings which pretty much look identical. We could also say that they're Twin Towers. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? This one is pretty random. There's just some old ugly communist building, probably an office building or something. And as you can see, it doesn't look very good. It feels a bit gray, it's kind of depressing, the kind of Soviet style. But now in 2024, it's been renovated, it has new windows, it has been repainted, and it just looks much better. Now again, looking back, there's just some old abandoned building with a parking lot and some overgrown vegetation in the background. Just a lot of unused space that could be used for something much more meaningful. But now in 2024 we get this absolutely amazing looking building. According to Google Maps, this is a store selling Ferrari cars, which I didn't quite expect. At my first impression when I saw this building, I thought it was like a university or a museum or something. Another place as of 2011 is just an empty space with some abandoned looking hangars or whatever it is. But now as of 2025 there's a new office building. Just check it out for yourself. Just yet another example of how some places can be used for better. Another epic example, here you can see some intersection with a fenced empty property in the background. There is some graffiti as you can see, and it does look pretty neglected. But now as of 2025 you can see some nice sidewalk with some stairs leading to a newly built development. Again, I assume those are some office buildings, but they definitely look pretty cool. I mean, especially if you compare it to what it used to look like, it's pretty impressive. Again, we have very similar looking surroundings, just an empty space, and there is some construction going on of some new building. Other than the construction side, there's nothing going on. But now, as of 2025, we got new Burger King, we got Lidl, and we got those 2 towers. One of them is called Jupiter Tower, the other one is just some office building, I guess. Definitely a good use of the space. There is another absolutely amazing example. Just look how this street has transformed over the time. As you can see, there were many old crumbled looking buildings. A lot of the area was covered by some old industrial zone, but now it looks totally different and unrecognizable from the past. Just some new residential apartments for people, I guess. Yeah, just have a look yourself. It looks pretty cool in my opinion. Okay, so here's some older building which has changed. There was a jackpot store. As you can see, the building looks pretty crumbling and it's not in the best condition. Now, as you can see, the building has been renovated. It has new frontage and it changed the color into blue, which definitely looks quite interesting. And I personally like this kind of architecture, which is very common in the Baltic states. Here again, you can see some old building, old historical building, which is in absolutely awful condition, unfortunately. But now the building is renovated, it's repainted. And it just looks in a way better condition. There's even like some cafe store opened, and that's very nice. This time we're in the central area of Riga, and as you can see there is some restaurant, and next to it is some old building. Old building waiting for some renovation. So as of today the building is perfectly renovated and the restaurant has a new building. With the Ukrainian flag, of course, because they put it absolutely everywhere. Like seriously, what kind of obsession is that? I see it literally everywhere on every single corner in this city. By the way, a little bit of a fun fact about Latvia. As I'm making this video, I see so many Ukrainian flags alongside with the Latvian flag. Look at this. It's just literally everywhere. Absolutely everywhere I go, I see like Latvian and Ukrainian flag. Here's just another old ugly communist building which doesn't look good. But now the building looks totally different. It has completely different character. It doesn't look like the same building, which is quite amazing job, well done. Over the last 20 years, the city of Riga has changed a lot. In the early 2000s, many streets still had old Soviet-era buildings, broken sidewalks. Some areas felt forgotten with empty shops and buildings that hadn't been painted in decades. The roads were full of potholes and public transport looked old and worn out. But slowly, things began to improve. The city started fixing roads and rebuilding sidewalks. Old buildings were cleaned and repainted. Many of them were turned into modern apartments, offices, or cafes. You can see this clearly when you compare the street views from back then and now. Places that once looked ugly now look bright and modern. The city center became more alive. Fancy shops, restaurants, and hotels opened. New glass buildings appeared next to the old ones, creating a mix of modern and historic architecture. Tourists started coming more often and Riga began to feel more like a European capital. Public transport was upgraded too. Old buses and trolleys were replaced with newer, quieter, and more eco-friendly ones. The central station area is also being rebuilt, part of a big railway project called Rail Baltica. This will connect Riga with other cities in the region. Parks and public spaces got better as well. Public spaces were cleaned, improved, and become more popular for locals and visitors. Even smaller neighborhoods outside a city center started to change. New housing projects were built, playgrounds were added, and some old factories were turned into art spaces or offices. As I'm recording this video, I just found this. I find it pretty hilarious. Look at this. All of these houses have the same Latvian flag. That's pretty cool. I like the attitude, the patriotism, you know?